You know, I've been thinking a lot about healing lately. It's funny how it changes us in ways we don't always see coming. I mean, we all know healing is supposed to make us feel better, right? But it's so much more than that. It's like peeling an onion, layer by layer, except instead of making you cry, well, okay, sometimes it does that too. It's revealing a whole new you underneath. I've been on this journey for a while now, working through my pain, confronting my demons. And let me tell you, it's not easy. It's real work, the kind that leaves you exhausted but somehow stronger at the end of each day. I'm dismantling narratives I've held onto for years, questioning habits I thought were just part of who I am. I'm challenging mindsets that I didn't even realize were holding me back, and beliefs that, well, they just don't make sense anymore. And you know what? I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the work I'm doing. It's not always visible to others, but I can feel the difference. It's like I'm becoming more me, the real me, not the version I thought I had to be. But here's the thing that's been hitting me hard lately. As I change, my relationships are changing too. And I'm not going to lie, it hurts. It hurts a lot. I keep thinking about these friends I have, people who've been in my life for years. They used to feel like family, you know? We had this connection, this understanding, but now it's like there's this distance between us. It's not a physical distance. We still see each other, still talk. But emotionally, it's like we're speaking different languages. And it's not just one or two people. It feels like friendship after friendship is slipping away. I find myself grieving these connections, mourning what we had. It's this cycle of loss that just keeps going, and sometimes I wonder if it will ever stop. The hardest part? It's not them. They haven't changed. They're the same people they've always been, with the same quirks, the same personalities, the same struggles. It's me. I'm the one who's different now. My needs have changed. My boundaries. Oh man, my boundaries. I used to be so flexible, you know. I'd bend over backwards to make others comfortable, to keep the peace. But now I have these lines that I won't cross, these standards that I hold myself to, and I'm realizing that I need to hold the people in my life to those standards too. It's like, you know, when you're going through a really tough time and you're just in survival mode, you put up with things you normally wouldn't. You make excuses for people's behavior. You settle for less than you deserve. You tell yourself, this is just how life is. But it's not. It's really not. Healing forces you to see things as they really are. It's like putting on a pair of glasses for the first time and suddenly realizing the world isn't supposed to be blurry. You start to see the patterns, the unhealthy dynamics. That friend who only calls when they need something? Yeah, I see that now. The job that constantly pushes my boundaries? I can't ignore that anymore. The relationship that I've outgrown but have been clinging to out of habit or fear? It feels suffocating now. And it's not because I think I'm better than anyone else. God, no. It's because I've finally started to understand my own worth. I've started to realize that I deserve more than what I've been settling for. My goals have shifted, my values have deepened, my priorities, they're not what they used to be, and that changes everything. Suddenly, I find myself with zero tolerance for drama. Those gossipy conversations that used to feel like bonding, they just leave me feeling drained now. The roles I used to play in my friendships and relationships, where I'd make myself smaller to make others comfortable, I can't do it anymore. It's like trying to squeeze into clothes I've outgrown. It's uncomfortable, and it just doesn't fit. None of it aligns with who I am now. None of it fulfills me the way it used to. Instead, I'm starting to see these things for what they really are: distractions, sources of stress. They take up space in my life but don't give anything meaningful back. It's It's like I've been carrying around this heavy backpack for years, and I'm finally unpacking it and realizing half the stuff in there is junk I don't need. But here's the kicker, and this is the part that really messes with me. Even though I can see all of this so clearly now, I'm still attached to it, to the people, to the habits, to the familiar patterns. It's like my heart hasn't quite caught up with my head yet. And that attachment? It keeps me stuck sometimes. I find myself going back to the same conversations, the same situations, hoping that maybe this time it'll be different. Maybe this time that friend will really listen. Maybe this time that relationship will finally feel fulfilling. Deep down, I know it's not working. But I keep trying anyway. I'm learning that it's okay though. It's all part of the process. We don't just wake up one day completely healed and changed. It's a journey with steps forward and steps back, but eventually, we have to let go. And that's the part I'm grappling with now. Because this change, it's happening whether I want it to or not. I've tried to fight it. Oh, how I've tried. I've clung to friendships that don't serve me anymore. I've tried to force myself back into old patterns, old ways of thinking. I've resisted the shifts that are happening, wishing things could just stay the same. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Change pushes through anyway. It's like trying to hold back the tide. All I'm doing is exhausting myself. I learned this the hard way. Every time I tried to force things to stay the same, I just ended up feeling more trapped, more worn out. The change kept coming, and my resistance only made it harder to deal with. But when I started leaning into the changes instead of fighting them, that's when things began to shift in a way that felt, I don't know, more manageable somehow, more authentic. I know it sounds cliché, but I'm starting to believe that life, with a capital L, knows what it's doing. When it forces us to change, it's not to punish us, it's because it's trying to push us towards something better, even if we can't see it at the time. And trust me, I know how hard it is to trust that. When everything feels uncertain, when it feels like your whole world is falling apart, trusting that there's something better ahead. It doesn't come easy. We want guarantees. We want clear answers. We want to be able to control how things unfold. But life doesn't work like that, does it? It gives us what's best for us in the long term, not what feels comfortable or convenient in the moment. And that's a hard pill to swallow sometimes. I've found that trusting in something larger than myself, call it the universe, a higher power, or just the natural flow of life, has been key in helping me stay grounded when things feel out of control. It reminds me that all I need to do is tune into myself and trust that the answers I need will come when the time is right. But here's the thing about this kind of trust. It's not passive. It's not about just letting life happen to me. It's about being active in my growth while accepting that some things are beyond my control. It's about doing the work, showing up for myself, and then having faith that things will unfold as they should. I'm learning that healing isn't just about letting go of what no longer serves us. That's part of it, sure, but it's also about making space for what does serve us. It's about clearing out the clutter in our lives, physical, emotional, mental, so we have room for new experiences, new relationships, new ways of being. And sometimes that means trusting that life is leading us exactly where we need to be, even if we can't see the destination yet. It's like we're on a road trip, but instead of having the whole route mapped out, we can only see as far as our headlights reach. We have to trust that the road ahead exists, even if we can't see it yet. You know, as I'm talking through all of this, I'm realizing something. This journey of healing and change, it's not just about becoming a better version of myself. It's about becoming more authentically myself. It's about stripping away all the layers of who I thought I should be, who others expected me to be, and uncovering who I really am underneath it all. And yes, it's scary, it's uncomfortable. There are days when I miss the comfort of my old patterns, my old relationships, my old self. There are moments when I wonder if all this change is worth it. But then I catch a glimpse of who I'm becoming. I feel the strength that comes from setting boundaries, the peace that comes from living authentically, the joy that comes from allowing new experiences and relationships into my life. And I know, deep in my bones, that this is right, this is growth, this is healing. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing the work, keep confronting the hard truths, keep allowing myself to change and grow. I'm going to grieve the friendships that no longer fit, honor the parts of myself that I'm leaving behind, and stay open to the new connections and experiences that are coming my way. Because at the end of the day, this journey of healing and change, it's not just about fixing what's broken, it's about creating a life that's fuller, richer, more authentic than anything I could have imagined before. And that's worth all the discomfort, all the uncertainty, all the grief. This is my path now. And even on the hardest days, I'm grateful for it. Because it's leading me to myself, the real, authentic, whole version of myself. And that's the greatest gift healing could ever give me.